here's a look at a bunch of reamers that I got in a small lot of gunsmithing stuff that I purchased. Most of these are pistol caliber reamers, and most of them are finish reamers. I think there is one rough reamer in the lot, but most of them are finish reamers. Well, for anybody that doesn't know, a rough reamer or coarse reamer, it's actually it's not the size of your chamber. It's smaller than your chamber, and you use it to hog the material out, where you can use appropriate diameter reamer. That's not a chamber reamer, but the appropriate reamer, just a regular reamer, and hog your material out for your chamber. And then you run your finish reamer in, which is the diameter of the cartridge that you're trying to chamber. So this is 480 Ruger. This is the biggest one I have out here, and so the length of the cartridge is going to be, or the case, probably is right there, and then this is like the tapered lead that goes into the throats, and then so your body there, and then this is for your rim, and then you would control your headspace by how deep you put your reamer into your barrel and how deep you cut that shoulder in. And so a finish reamer, unless it's a special size or been cut special, usually would probably be in the middle of your spec, and that way it'd allow a couple of sharpenings, and then you could still have a minimum spec chamber reamer. And some people want a minimum, so after a couple of sharpenings, you'll end up down to a minimum. And gosh, you can probably chamber, if you take care of your reamer, 40, 50 or more. I've heard people say, as many as 80 chambers. So I expect that care in the reamer is important. This it's actually a reamer that has removable pilots. This one's got a bunch of dried oil on it, and this one's not actually supposed to be on there. They get stacked in the tube. And so this is a throating reamer for 41 Magnum. And for anybody that doesn't know, the throat is the section that is ahead of your chamber, that's in the end of your cylinder. So you have a chamber, then you have, so let's say this is your direction of your bullet travel. You start with the chamber, then you've got a short section of throat, then you've got your barrel cylinder gap, and then your barrel here, the first section of your barrel is your forcing cone. Then you have the beginning of your rifling, called rifling origin. And so each one of those things will usually have a different reamer. You'll have a reamer for your chamber proper, then you'll have a reamer for the throat, you'll have a separate reamer for your forcing cone. And so when they make cylinders and barrels, all those dimensions are cut separately, and it's very important that each one is correct in order to prevent your, oh, that's a nice one, in order to prevent your barrel from fouling, whether it be lead or copper. And it's all got to be concentric, or not concentric, but lined up to each other on the same center line, and that'll keep it from spitting lead, as long as your barrel cylinder gap isn't too large, and it'll cause it accuracy to be much improved than if you have, for example, your chambers that can be offset slightly to your throats, and then your chambers and throats can be offset to your forcing cone. The forcing cone isn't always directly concentric to the bore, especially if it's been hurried or been, you know, in modern manufacturing, they're making them in a hurry, so sometimes you get that. But most of this I really don't have much need for, although I might end up keeping the 430 throat reamer, because I do mess with the 44 mag some. You know, when I bought this lot, there was a picture of it, and they weren't all marked this nice. I marked these, and so you really didn't know what you were going to get. I bought them and went ahead and just took a chance to see what there was. And there's a little bit of everything here. There's actually some not chamber reamers, but just regular hole reamers. And this one's 0.3145 in diameter. So for anybody that doesn't know, if you need a precision hole, that's what you'll use. You'll use a reamer to get a hole exactly the right diameter and straight. So you'll usually you'll drill a hole with a drill bit for the reamer to follow into, you know, because they don't have any provision for starting the hole. And then they'll usually a drill bit may or may not, but usually not, drill a hole that'll be exactly round. And then so a reamer will clean it up, make it round, and then they also give you a precise diameter, whereas with a drill bit, usually the diameter will vary. And then the other reason is that the inside finish of the hole is much smoother with a reamer. And did happen to have a 357 Magnum Go gauge for chambering 357 Magnum guns. Appreciate y'all joining me.